Hello everybody, this is Hammer Striker here. Today we're going to do a short video on changing the grip on a GP100, a Ruger GP100 revolver. This particular one happens to be a match champion. You may have seen the video on this one on our channel. If not, we'll put the link in the description so that you can get more information about the gun itself. And what we're going to do today is we're going to swap out the grip that's on it from the factory with that Hogue rubber grip, which is going to do a better job of taming the recoil of the 357, this one is chambered in, and making it a little comfortable to hold. So depending on the variation you've got, what the stock grip is and what you've got, you may need some of the things you see on the table. You may need a hammer and a punch set to punch out some pins, and if you end up having to punch any pins, you'd need an armorer's block or a piece of wood or something like that. And you may need a screwdriver to remove the existing retaining screw that's holding the grip in place. Now, because the Match Champion comes with this Hogue wooden grip from the factory, it's already set up for a Hogue grip. So I'm not going to need the pin punching part of this. So I can set aside the armorer's block, the punches, and the hammer, and really I'm just going to be down to doing the screwdriver and sliding them off. So it is unloaded, and then I'm going to go ahead and close it up because it'll be a lot easier to work with it closed. Basically, on the Hogue grip that's on it, underneath it there's a screw. And you're going to find a retaining screw mechanism on the majority of the different type of grips. It may be at the bottom, it may be along the sides, but there's going to be a screw of some sort you have to remove. And so I'm just going to take a small flathead screwdriver and I'm going to back this screw out. And once I've gotten it turning, I'm going to turn the gun right side up so that I can determine when it's actually ready to come loose and drop it out of there. And of course it's easier to do it when you're not trying to show it on camera and you're just trying to do it. I'm going to take a second, and there it goes. And the screw comes out. So once I've pulled the screw out on this particular grip style, that's the only thing retaining the grip on the gun. So I can just slide the grip gently off, and now I've got the grip in my hand. So I can set this aside. This is a nice wooden grip, and it really is a nice looking grip. The only reason we're replacing it is to get something a little softer on the hands, but from an aesthetics point of view, this is actually a very nice grip. Now, if the gun has already come with a Hogue grip of some sort like this one, it'll already have the stirrup in place. And this stirrup is part of the retention mechanism on Hogue grips. And it comes with the new grip. You'll see it down here in the bottom right there. So don't worry if your gun doesn't have it. If it had something other than a Hogue, it'll come with the stirrup. But there would be a pin in this hole that the stirrup is in on many of the other grips, the non-Hogue grips. And that's where the punches and the hammer would come in. You'd have to punch that pin out of there to make room for the stirrup to install. If you didn't have the stirrup in place originally, let me pop open that package and show you how the stirrup would work. You would pull the stirrup out of the package, you would remove the screw that comes with it and set it aside, and you would just pull the little leg up like this to make the pin come out, and once you've done that, then you can slide the stirrup in place. And we're actually going to change this stirrup because the screw that comes with the rubber grip, the black screw, is thicker than the silver one that came with the wooden grip. And to keep it consistent, I'm going to swap these out. So all I'm going to do is lift up on it a little bit to free it, and lift up on the other side so that I can get free of the pin. Slide the stirrup off, so now I have the stirrup in my hand. The roll pin should probably be the same on both, but I'm going to keep them together the way they came. Set that aside. Do the same thing with this one. Just flare it with my hand so that I can get this roll pin out of it. Drop the roll pin into the gun and flare the stirrup with your fingers, or you can use a screwdriver to get it to go over that pin. And you'll see what I'm doing is I'm kind of just positioning to get it over that pin, and then push it till it snaps in place. And it's now snapped in place. So you're basically just flaring it out, taking that roll pin out of the middle, putting the roll pin in the gun, flaring it up again to slide it in place. So all I've done at this point is I've exchanged it for a stirrup that will match this black screw that will look proper with the black grip. And I'm going to take this silver screw and screw it into the stirrup, which I'll do later, and keep those two parts together. Now that I've installed the stirrup, whether I just swapped it out or whether or not I had to punch the pin out, the next step is to install the grip. And what you're going to see is there's a number of grooves inside the grip. You can see on the sides there. And that stirrup is going to ride down inside those grooves, and it's going to act as a guide. So when I go to install the grip on the gun, the best way to do it is to hold it with the stirrup facing down and guide the stirrup into the grip so that it lines up. And then basically I'm just going to push it down, slowly guiding it back and forth as I go. Now one thing I'll note before I push down on it, you'll see there's a little shelf right here where it's milled. And so this piece is going to be thinner than this piece. That's not a problem, except that when I push it up, this is going to hit the grip and it's going to bottom out. It's going to appear to jam. At that point, I'll just use my fingers to flare the grip. So I'm going to push it down until it stops. And then I'm just going to reach into the grip with my fingers and just kind of pry it apart a little bit. And then it pops a little bit further. And I didn't have to use a lot of force for that. All I was doing is widening it up a little bit to accommodate that shelf. At that point, it should just slide right into place. I just kind of pushed down on the gun and pushed up on the grip, and it slides into place. Now it's time to install the screw. That's actually fairly easy. Take the screw that's appropriate for the stirrup that's in it, drop it into this hole, and tighten it down. Now you want to tighten it down until it's snug, but you don't want to over tighten it. You're not torquing this thing for life. It's going to stay in place. I'm just using, notice I'm just using 2 fingers, the strength of 2 fingers to tighten it. If it does loosen up on you, rather than tightening it up even tighter, I would back it out, put a little bit of Loctite on it. But the rubber of the grip and the tension of it up against the frame should be sufficient to hold this in place without any issues. At this point now, I have a nice soft rubber grip that makes the recoil more manageable on this. Not quite as nice looking as the wood, but it'll make a long day at the range a little bit more fun and a little bit less abusive on your hands. So if you enjoy our videos, please give us a thumbs up, share, subscribe, check us out on Facebook, and have a great day. Thank you.